everyone. I'm really excited to be here and so excited to see so many people who want to know about the future of food. I'm also very grateful to the Emerge team who invited me here to talk my vision about the future of food. So when I started composing this presentation, I was thinking, okay, how important is food for us? And then I thought, I wonder how many posts there are about food on Instagram. Don't look at your phones, just think how many times have someone posted something with the hashtag food. I discovered that it's almost 300 million hashtags and posts about food. Then I was like, okay, that's a lot, but that's just one hashtag. We have more than 100 hashtags about food, and that accumulatively is more than 1 billion posts about food. Just to make a comparison, love, which is the most important and most quoted hashtag, is more than 1 billion posts. So I realized I'm not alone who is really, really excited about food. I myself, I'm a food lover, but I'm also a food scientist. I've been in the field for the past 10 years, and I've been learning about food science in 4 different universities in 4 countries. I'm also a food researcher with a background in 2 different research centers in Europe. I've also worked in the big industry, but now for the last 2 years, which has been most exciting, I've been a food entrepreneur and a food innovator, and I've co-founded a company called Non-Food that I'll talk to you about in a second. However, with this talk, I want to tell you the main insights I've gathered over the last 5 years. First one. There will be more change in the next 30 years in food and agriculture than in 10,000 years. 10,000 years ago, we put the first plow into the ground and started agriculture. But now, by 2050, we'll be seeing so much change that it's inconceivable. We'll see more change than what has happened from agriculture to today. Another thing that I've discovered is that food industry, my industry, is the biggest polluter in the world. It is responsible for more than half of all the greenhouse gases that are on this planet. Also, what we see worldwide is that every second person, maybe not in the audience, but around the whole world, is actually either overweight or obese. And that is causing a lot of problems because about 70% of people die every year because they have a lifestyle disease, and food is a part of our lifestyle. On top of that, in the next 30 years, we will add 3 billion people to this planet. We will be in total 10 billion people, meaning that we need to produce a lot more food. Finally, when all these facts and insights reached to me, I was wondering, how can we actually feed ourselves, everyone on this planet, while maintaining the future of this planet and maintaining our own personal health? This has been driving me for the past 2 years as an entrepreneur, and I found one simple solution, but it needs a lot of work. We need to move from an animal-based old system that has been working for the past 10,000 years to a plant-based system. The facts are simple. We will decrease greenhouse gases by 100 times. We will decrease the use of land by 10 times, water by 7 times. And just to mention water, just to make a little stop here, I was risen as what one would call a responsible citizen, meaning that when I took a shower, I made sure that I will do a very quick shower so that I don't lose any water. When I brush my teeth, I go and I close the tap, so I make sure I don't lose any drop of water, because recently, Cape Town in South Africa ran out of water. We have constantly a crisis with water. But then no one in school, none of my parents, no one in the university told me that if I eat a whole burger, I use a month of water supplies. I basically eat a whole month of showers. And that really shocked me as an insight. I was like, why did not anyone tell me this information? I still eat everything, but I've drastically decreased the amount of animal-based products that I eat. And also on top of the planet, the impact animal-based agriculture is having, it also Once moving from an animal-based agriculture to a plant-based agriculture, we decrease our health risks, and we will therefore increase our lifespan. So, the question I'm sitting with is, do I need to change my diet? Do I need to change my habits? It's really, really difficult. And as I said, I'm still an omnivore. I eat everything, but I've made some small changes. However, what keeps me positive and really excited about the future is that there are innovative technologies that are helping us to transition from an animal-based agriculture to a plant-based agriculture. And today I want to share you 3 main technologies, what the most innovative food startups are using in order to make this vision into a reality. I'm going to start with cellular agriculture. Have you ever heard of cells that are capable of producing the single molecules that are represented in food? I myself came across this technology recently, and what it allows us to do is to produce different molecules. It allows us to produce, for example, proteins, different flavor molecules, gelatin. It allows us to produce what we need molecule by molecule. And I will go through this in a simple scientific example that I've tried to make as enjoyable as possible. So the way the old technology works is that we use an animal to produce what we eat. The new way of approaching this is to understand which are the molecules inside our food. So let's take milk as an example. The scientists have already found that milk composes of water, casein, which is a type of protein and is crucial in milk, and then other solids. And now, with this new cellular technology, we can produce casein without using the old technology. How do we do that? We start with the cow in a sense that we look online which is the gene that codes for casein production, which is the genetic code in DNA that is responsible inside the cow to make it produce casein. Once we have found this gene, and this information is all online because genetic sequencing is a technology that we've been using for the past century, and we really know all this information. Now we know the gene that is producing casein, and we can take this gene and insert it into a singular cell. Basically, we can create, using CRISPR, which is also a new gene technology, we can introduce it to the single cell. And then using that cell, we can give it sugar, use fermentation, and produce acellular casein. So fermentation is a process that we use to make bread, to make wine, to make cheese. It's basically just growing and feeding those cells. And in the end of the day, what we have obtained is acellular casein that we mix together with water and other solids in order to have the same milk, but without using the old technologies such as the animal. So this was a scientific overview of how to identify what we need and how to use new technology that is all out there to produce the same product without the old technology. Next are the main pioneers in this technology. There's called the company that is Perfect Day. They are making this acellular milk. They've already produced it, and they're currently scaling up their production. Clara Foods is making egg whites. Impossible is making heme, which is the key molecule in meat, making meat taste like meat. And Gelter is making gelatin. All these companies use no old technology in their production. The second technology I want to talk about is called cellular food production. It starts with the animal, meaning that we take some of the cells from the animal, but we grow it outside of the animal, and we obtain a last final product that we can eat. This was done in 2013 by Mark Post in the Netherlands, and he already created what we call a cellular meat. It cost him a lot, more than 300K, but in the last 5 years, the price has come down more than 400 times. As the technology is evolving and getting faster and faster, the price of cellular meat will come closer to meat in the next 5 to 10 years. Here, there are also many pioneers. So as I mentioned before, it's Mark's Post Moza Meat. It's Memphis Meat, who has been backed by Richard Branson and Bill Gates. So there are already visionary investors who are backing this movement from an animal-based agriculture to a food-based agriculture. Also, Integriculture in Japan, Supermeat is making chicken cells, Finless Food is making ocean food cells, and Wild Earth that is making mice cells for our pets. The last technology that I want to mention today that gives me hope for the future is using plants to mimic the sensory profile of our current food products. We can make cheese from seeds. We can make burgers from different plants. We can even make scrambled eggs from mung beans. We can make tuna from tomato, and we can make shrimp from algae. And there are plenty of companies who are in this space. All the meat companies, the dairy companies, the seafood companies, the mushroom companies, the companies making eggs and mayonnaises. And then there is my company that is called the Non-Food, and I will tell you in a moment what we are doing. So we are making radically sustainable foods from algae. And algae is a microorganism that is densely nutritious, and it grows very fast. So if we compare algae to plants, it's 100 times more sustainable. And if we compare it to animal agriculture, it's even 1,000 times more sustainable. And it's grown either in ponds or bioreactors. But the beautiful part is that algae was on our planet Earth already in the beginning of our existence. It was there on the planet to create the oxygens that we are breathing, because algae uses CO2, sunlight, to make edible protein, and in return, it makes us oxygen that we can breathe. So it's a wonderful organism. It's a wonderful organism to produce food. For the future, we need the food system to provide us products that tackle 4 different categories. The products need to be sustainable for our planet in order for us to live. I briefly considered moving to Mars when I was in the summer in NASA and Singularity University. But honestly, I love the sun and the planet Earth too much that I'm not going anywhere. So I need to make sure that this planet is livable for my children and my grandchildren so that they can enjoy the quality of life we are having here today as humans. Next, the products need to be good for my health. It needs to be nourishing. It needs to drive me. It needs to make me want to wake up every day and continue making a positive change in the world. Also, it needs to be cost-effective, meaning that we can provide this food to everyone, not just the specific elite or people who have a lot of money to pay for this. It needs to be cost-effective. And last but not least, the food needs to be delicious, because I don't know about you, but I eat because I enjoy food. I eat because I love the flavor, I love the texture, I just love the experience, and I want to provide that for the future generations. So at Non-Food, what we've done is we've created the first nutritional bar made from algae. It is good for the planet as an organism that is super sustainable. It is good for your health, and it's also delicious. We're still a small startup, so therefore we're scaling it up in order to make it affordable for the masses. However, all this effort has not come without help, and there is a lot of help for startups out there. I would like to mention a few incubators that are based in the US that help young, or you don't even have to be young, but just motivated and very driven people to build the future of food. These all are really great startups that provide you with network, with advice, and of course with money. On top of that, there are tons of VCs that are investing into this future of moving from an animal-based agriculture, which is the old system, into a new system that is plant-based. There are individuals such as Bill Gates and Richard Branson who are investing personally in this sector because they also want their children and grandchildren to live and thrive on this planet in the future. Last but not least, there are also nonprofits who are conveying the message, telling the science, and letting people know what is being built. And many different conferences, such as Emerge and all the other ones in the world, that can help you to meet the right people, to get the ideas, to get inspiration to build the future together. So I would like you to invite everyone to join me to build the new future of food that is sustainable for the planet and for our own personal health, and to use the innovative technologies that are already out there to build a post-animal economy. My name is Marilis Holm. I'm the co-founder of Non-Food. I'm also an alumni of Singularity University and the LEAP Leadership Program. I'm here the whole day, but I'm also reachable through email if you need any help with networking, with knowledge, I don't know, inspiration, whatever you need in order to make this future into a reality, because we as humans and we as inhabitants on planet Earth, we really need to move from an animal-based food system to a plant-based food system.